Welcome to the Music Fix, your one-stop shop for all things music. In this podcast, we dive deep into the latest news, trends, and releases shaping the music industry. From chart-topping hits to underground gems, we've got you covered.
Okay, welcome everyone to this deep dive. We're digging into some pretty significant changes happening in one corner of the music distribution world today. Specifically, we're looking at a key entity making a major shift. To get a handle on it, we've looked through, a termination letter, some articles about going independent, details on a rebrand, this interesting deal generator idea, and, some background on music aggregators generally. So our mission here is really to unpack what this rebrand, this whole strategic pivot actually means. Especially for you, if you're an artist or maybe running a label right now.
Yeah, and what jumps out right off the bat is the core event, isn't it? The termination. We've got this digital distribution agreement between Music Label Group and Virgin Music Group. Well, it's ending. The date is set for July 24th, 2025.
Right, July 24th, 2025.
Yeah.
That seems to be the key date here. And the why behind it, according to the sources, it seems to be about independence, really. Music Label Group apparently felt that the major label tie-up was, hindering them, holding back their strategic growth, their decisions. They want to go it alone, fully independent.
Exactly. They state that the ties with Virgin, the major, were, quote, holding them back from making strategic moves and decisions.
Holding them back. That implies they felt, restricted.
That's how it reads. Major label deals can sometimes limit agility, maybe slower decisions, less flexibility on deal structures.
Right. Things majors might not want to or be able to move quickly on.
Exactly. So going independent, it's likely a bet on being faster, maybe trying new things, offering different kinds of deals. More control, basically.
Speaking of different deals, there's this specific new thing mentioned, the create your own deal generator.
Yes. That sounds like a real tangible piece of this new independent approach.
So how does it work, according to the sources?
Well, it seems like a tool where you, the artist, or maybe another label can go in and sort of pick the services you need.
Like distribution, marketing, whatever.
Presumably. And it shows the percentage cost for each service, totals it up right there for you.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, then you can download it or email it straight to Music Label Group to get the final agreement sorted.
So it's about transparency then, letting artists kind of build their own package.
Seems like it. More upfront clarity, potentially more artist agency. Though, artists still need to understand what those services are and what's a fair price.
Sure, absolutely.
And tied right into that move for independence is this identity shift. It's pretty major. Produbeats Music is doing a full rebrand. On that very same date, July 24th, 2025, they're all coming under one name, Music Label Group.
Okay, let me make sure I've got this straight.
Oh.
The part known as Music Label Group of Produbeats Music ends the Virgin deal. And then the main Produbeats Music entity itself becomes Music Label Group.
Mm-hmm.
That definitely sounds like more than just swapping out logos. The sources call it a significant strategic evolution.
Precisely. It's not just window dressing. This rebrand, it's foundational. They talk about the new infrastructure that this whole shift creates. They say it will provide enhanced resources and a broader platform for success.
Enhanced resources, broader platform. Okay.
Yeah.
So the message is, this change isn't just corporate shuffling. It's meant to be a direct benefit to the artists who make the move.
That's certainly the narrative presented in these quotes, yes. Yeah. It's positioned as a move towards a better aligned structure for artist success.
And how do the artists find out if they're part of this migration and what the details are?
The press release excerpt says that detailed information is coming. It'll be communicated directly to the affected artists and labels in the coming weeks.
Got it. Coming weeks. Now, beyond all the structural stuff, the termination, the rebrand, the partnership, there was something else mentioned in the sources, something quite innovative sounding.
Ah, yes. This definitely caught my eye. It seems Music Label Group isn't just restructuring, they're introducing a whole new service based on this description. It's called a Create Your Own Deal Agreement Generator.
Create your own deal, a generator. How? How does that work, according to the sources?
Well, the description is pretty clear. It lets the user, presumably an artist or label, customize your own deal.
Customize how?
You basically select the specific services you actually need from Music Label Group. Like maybe you need distribution but not marketing, or vice versa.
Okay, like an a la carte menu for label services?
Kind of, yeah. And as you click or select each service, the generator shows you the percentage cost attached to that specific service.
Oh, interesting. So you see the price tag for each component.
Exactly. Then, once you've picked everything you want, it totals up all those percentages.
It gives you the final deal structure based on your choices.
That's the idea presented. And then the source says you have two options. You can either download the agreement it generates
Right.
and maybe review it, then send it over. Or you can apparently email it directly from the generator tool straight to Music Label Group to get the finalized contract back.
Wow. Okay, that does sound different. Based purely on that description, it puts a lot more control potentially in the hands of the artist or label. Build your own agreement based on what you actually need. See the cost breakdown.
It certainly suggests a different approach, doesn't it? More flexible, maybe more transparent, focusing on letting artists pay for just the services they value. At least that's what the description implies.
Very interesting. Okay, so looking ahead, what else do the sources tell us is coming down the pike from Music Label Group?
Just that more details are expected soon. Things like the actual new branding logos, look and feel, and probably a more comprehensive rundown of all the services they'll offer under the Music Label Group banner. The source says that info should be released by the end of next month.
End of next month, relative to when these documents were written, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just quickly recap the story these sources weave together.
Sure.
We've got Produbeats Music making a decisive break, terminating a major distribution deal they felt was limiting, rebranding completely to Music Label Group,
Right.
and immediately forming a new exclusive partnership they believe offers more innovation and reach.
And bringing select artists over to this new setup.
Exactly, with a promise of better resources. And on top of all that, rolling out this potentially game-changing create-your-own-deal generator.
It's a whole package deal, really, a move towards what they're framing as a more agile, artist-centric version of independence, achieved through a different kind of partnership and new tools.
So, for you listening, why does this deep dive matter? Well, just looking at these documents, it's a fascinating glimpse, isn't it? It shows how companies, especially in fast-moving fields like music, don't just sit still.
Yeah, they actively reconfigure themselves, change partners, change names, even change how they structure their fundamental deals, all in the hunt for what they perceive as more strategic freedom or better ways to serve their clients, in this case, the artists.
And that leads to a final thought, based purely on what we've seen described in these sources today. Consider that create-your-own-deal concept. Just based on the description we have, choosing services, seeing percentage costs by, how might a model like that actually shift the power dynamic between artists and labels or service providers?
Yeah, that's the interesting question, isn't it? What does the mere idea of offering such a tool, as described here, tell us about where artist expectations might be heading, or how the landscape for music services could evolve? Something to think about, based only on the clues within these documents.
Okay, so boiling it down, what could this mean for you listening? Whether you're an artist handling your own stuff or maybe running a small label, this whole situation seems to point towards, well, greater independence becoming a more viable path. And these customizable service models are popping up. It suggests there might be new ways to get your music out there, ways that prioritize your own strategic control, maybe tailored agreements over just signing up with a traditional major distributor arm. Maybe it signals that finding the right fit for what you specifically need is getting, I don't know, easier.
Yeah, if you look at the whole narrative, you've got an entity cutting ties with a major, rebranding under one vision, forging a new path with a specific partner, and then introducing this quite novel tool for customizing deals. It really does represent a significant shift in how they're approaching things.
Which kind of leaves us with a final thought to chew on, doesn't it? If we're seeing independent players like this prioritize strategic control, and if they're building platforms offering highly customizable deals, could this actually change the power dynamics in music distribution in the long run?
That's a good question.
Yeah, what new possibilities does this open up for independent artists and labels? Or, what new challenges might arise as they navigate this evolving landscape? Something to think about.